3, we're recording. So, hello, everybody, and we are on module 2 of Living an Endlessly Delicious Life. And today we're going to really talk a little bit about perspective and a little bit about permission. And yes, we're going to spend some time on an exercise, so be sure you have your paper and pens ready.
Yes.
So, basically, if you can change your perspective, you can change your life. And so I try and see if I can come up with off the cuff. Um, okay, so I'm trying to be as relevant as possible today. I was speaking with someone today, a fellow coach, and she says, how can I, given the situation we're in right now, tell people that it is okay, just change your perspective, right? And you will manifest, you will, bring in money, you will, whatever. How can I say that when we are in the middle of uncertainty? And I said, well, you can never say that, first of all. So if you are, shame, right? You can never promise that. But what you can promise is that given a situation where there is stress or fear of the uncertainty or concern of any kind, any out of balance, you have an opportunity to shift that perspective into that of hope, if nothing else, hope. And what that does is, first of all, if you physically feel better, you're able to make much better choices. And if you practice that, especially during this time, you practice being hopeful, you practice that there's potential after this releases, and you'll get a new job or whatever. When this is over, your attitude, your perspective, your approach to life will be different than everyone else who's been wallowing in anger and frustration and fear and concern. You will have a much different attitude. And so when you go back out into the world, people are going to see you differently. So, no, I can't guarantee that your life will change right this minute, but your opportunities will be bigger and more plentiful because you'll have managed how you feel and how you react. You have the opportunity to practice feeling better, practice knowing, oh my God, I'm in the center of fear right now. Okay, so what is that fear? And practice, okay, is this a reality right now? No. Is there any reason why I should feel this way right now today? Is there any evidence? No. Okay. So today, right now, what is going on? And so you can change the moment. And then collectively, as you do this day after day after day, you become better. You hone that skill and you have a much clearer clarity was yesterday, right? You have a much clearer vision as to where your life is going to go. So don't promise millions of dollars, but I do promise that you will be in a much better position than most people when you step back out into this world. So different choices, of course, create different results, right? So you decide that enough is enough, and that's it. It's time for a change. Now, right now, we're in the center of change being forced on you, right? But you can also say the way that I'm behaving or the way that the family dynamics is or the way that I'm not relating to people. I miss the hugs, I miss whatever. I'm tired of it. It's time for a change. What can that change be? Okay. You can still be responsible for the 20% that's in your care, custody, and control right now. And you decide how much of a change you want to make. Now, me personally, I love change. I've been doing that my whole entire life. If something gets boring, I'm going to bring it up a notch. But sometimes it's just a small change. And I'd like you to think about a graph, if you will, for a minute. And if you can't see my hand, but I'll do it on the line here. If the graph is going this way, you watch the little arrow. If you make just a small shift today, the graft has a much different trajectory than it did before. It goes up way more. So I'm not asking you to go up to the S and up to the R. I'm not asking you to jump. I'm asking you to just make a small shift. And that small shift will create the trajectory to get you up there. Maybe longer, but definitely at a much easier pace. So, but you decide what's comfortable for you. Okay. You can make meaningful change in your life that allows you to align to your values and life and your values in life and find happiness one small step at a time. My favorite old time song, and I used to sing it. I mean, it still plays in my head sometimes. This tells you how corny that I am. Just remember that ant that pushed the rubber tree plant, right? The ant did push that rubber tree plant a little every time. So just be the ant and push that rubber tree plant. And when you have a chance to make a choice, sometimes it feels like this, that you're in the middle of a maze and I don't know which way to go. Many times I will say to a client, it doesn't matter. Just pick one. And if we pick one and you go down this path and you realize you want to be down this path, all right, we'll get a lawnmower and cut through, right? It's no big deal. Or if you recognize that you can go up here and then come back over here. Yes, it's longer, but this is the choice that you made. And there's no wrong choice. It's just the choice that you made. And it gets you in motion. It gets you into the habit of making choices and making change and shifting your perspective. So as I said, look at your choices. I love these colors, sorry. So look at your options and alter your choice ever so slightly. These colors are more than slightly changed, but okay. So I want you, we're going to do an exercise. Sit up nice and tall. Do a little self chiropractic adjustment on your neck, right? Take a breath and close your eyes. And just take a few breaths to relax. And place one hand on your forehead, palm laying flat against your skin. Place the other hand to the back of your head with the palm facing your scalp, the lower back. Okay? So you've got the palm in the front of your head, near the brain, and in the back of your head. Focus on something that you might want to manifest. And in this moment, it might just be a fast recovery to what's going on. Call it into your mind and be very clear with as much detail as possible. So let's say that what you want to manifest is that you have your own business and you want customers coming in the door left and right. So call into your mind with as much detail as you can. Imagine yourself touching this object, these people, and feel what's going on. If it's an object that you want, such as money, feel the texture. Does it make a sound when you crunch it? Be careful if it's clients coming in, you don't want to squeeze them too much or be touching them a little bit too much. Take a moment to hear the sounds that this thing that you're manifesting can make. What are the qualities of this item that you want to manifest? What type of energy does it have? What type of energy does it invoke in you? Take a moment to really connect with this desired outcome that you want to manifest. Really feel it, sense it, make it clear, make it bigger and bolder. Make it panoramic so in your mind it's all around you. Be sure it's in color and that it's in 3D. Step into this picture and participate in it. Name and describe the object. Begin to state the name of this out loud, and you can kind of whisper it so no one else can hear you, but out loud. And as you do this, money, try to come up with a statement, with a list of at least 5 physical features of this item. So we were just talking about the sound it might make, the color it is, the size and the shape. How heavy is it? Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it make music? State the item and these descriptions repeatedly in your head, and we're going to do this for about a minute. State what it is and the description over and over in your head. It's a beautiful thing. And you can see it. You're in the middle of it. It's all around you. It is so real. Oh God, you can touch it. It's with you right now. I'll give it a little bit more time. And as you're in the middle of this, identify the emotion you are feeling while observing this item. 5 more seconds. Keep your hands where they are, though. And now, this emotion, stated out loud, you can whisper it. And for me, this emotion is delicious. Right? You can name it or give it several names. Now, you're going to state again out loud, this is my new truth and my new reality. And when you're doing this, you actually establish a commitment within your mind to being connected with this new belief that you've already created and you've chosen to manifest. This is my new truth and my new reality. You're declaring it to be true, and your brain will go to work and to begin the process to make that happen. And I want you to gently open your eyes, and you can take your hands down slowly. And I want you, we're not done yet. I want you to look right and then left. And as you're doing this, as you're moving your eyes right and left, about 10 or 15 times, I want you to state that this is my truth and my new reality. Okay, that's good. So this little exercise, if you do this every day, what it actually does is it does start to stimulate your brain. The front, when you're the frontal cortex, if you will, is your visualization, and your back is where your RAS is. That's where you're going to start to actually look for ways to make it happen. And so you've just incorporated both hemispheres of your brain to work together to manifest this. And we're getting now into a little bit of forgiveness. I love this quote. Forgiveness is a reflection of loving yourself enough to move on. So forgiveness consists primarily of taking less personal offense to something, right? Reducing your anger and the blame to the offender, right? It's developing an increased understanding of the situation. More, I like to say, as though you were a journalist, reducing your hurt and reducing your anger. It's not condoning. It doesn't, forgiving doesn't say that's okay. Okay, forgiving just means that you understand what just happened. So, what are some of the things that you might want to forgive? And as I was thinking about this when I threw this slide together, I was thinking about, I would want to forgive myself for mistakes that I've made. I want to forgive myself for holding on to things. I want to forgive myself for holding on to expectations of others and then getting angry when they don't meet those expectations, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. Um, I want to forgive myself for blaming others for the situation that I'm in. I want to forgive myself for causing pain. So you see, a lot of forgiveness I end up doing for myself. I've already forgiven others in my life. But that exercise, I want to forgive you for the mistakes you've made because they were mistakes. You missed the mark. I want to forgive you for holding on to a perception of what you expect me to be. I want to forgive you for the anger that you have and you lash out at me because of it. So I forgive you your anger. I want to forgive you your blame and using me as your scapegoat. I no permission to do it anymore, but I forgive you for in the past. And I forgive you for causing pain, for causing hurt, for causing anxiety. I forgive you. And now walk away. But you do not have permission anymore. It's very healing if you're able to do that. And most people, especially when it comes to the pain, the anger, the blame that is causing you pain, usually need help going through that forgiveness process. It's not something that's easily done until you've practiced it and practiced it and practiced it until you become a master. And mastery does not mean that you are perfect. Um, Mastery to me means that you know a process or know something so well that it's second nature for you to turn to it when you need to. Okay. I've definitely mastered this. Does that mean I don't blame people, that I don't have expectations, and that I don't feel pain? Pfft, I wish. But what it does mean is I recognize it sooner than I used to. I deal with it faster than I ever did before, and I release it and then go on with my life. And it allows me to go on with my life. Isn't that beautiful? So some of us think that holding on makes that strong. But sometimes it's really the letting go that does that. I've got a few, I wrote a few other examples down. I was on a roll. So, what are some of the things that you might be holding on to? You've been waiting for your significant other to catch up. It could be your business partner to catch up. It could be your study partner to catch up. It could be your business partner to catch up. Like, get with it. When are you going to get? All right, come on. I'm like 5 miles ahead of you. Come on, catch up. Right? You're holding on to small problems and they become big. You realize you're biding your time. Okay. Maybe you're waiting for the right moment. That never comes. You realize you're in an emotional gap. That maybe you're not feeling it anymore. You're feeling more and more restless. This doesn't feel right anymore. It doesn't fit anymore. And if you're in a amorous relationship, your eyes start to wander. And I don't mean it's appreciating eye candy. We all do that. But it's when you go beyond the appreciating of the eye candy and your thoughts begin to wander. What about when your friends start asking you questions like, you don't seem happy. You're sad all the time. You get lit up like that, right? You find fault and have a list of improvements that you wish the other person had, right? Or how about you compulsively think about leaving? You compulsively think about ending the business, ending the relationship, leaving the job, right? If that's the case, you've been hanging on too long. Get out your pen and paper again. This time we're going to do some writing, not a little meditation. Okay. Okay. And write 2 or 3 statements accepting a situation, one that maybe that has come up during this conversation. You're accepting it. You can't reject it or push against the unwanted. Don't focus on the problem. The solution is never where the problem is. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. So first you want to focus on accepting what it is. Maybe you want to let go of shame. So you start by accepting you are feeling shameful. Don't argue with it. It's how you're feeling. Just accept it. Don't resist it. Don't push against it. Give this feeling permission to exist. You want to work with it. So spiritual teacher Bentinto Massaro suggests a technique where you agree with your limiting and hurtful thoughts. So I caused harm. So I'm a mean person because I caused harm. Okay, I caused harm. So yeah, if the cause was intentional, that's being mean. Accidental, no, that's a mistake, right? Don't be harsh with yourself. No judgment. Just accept it. So you're basically letting in instead of letting go. So now we're talking about inviting something new. What is it that you want to bring in instead? Whatever this transgression you think is a transgression is, what do you want instead? And describe this in as much detail as you want. Letting go can sometimes trigger fear because you're leaving something behind. But we're not leaving an empty space, we're filling it with an intention instead. Sometimes we cling to the unwanted because we don't know what's next. So if we shift our language to letting in instead of letting go, we're letting peace in. We're letting awareness and consciousness in. We're letting trust in. Maybe letting love in. We're letting belief in. We're letting deserving in. We're not forcing it in. We're opening the door. We're letting worthiness in. So write your sentences of what you want let in. Fifteen more seconds. Beautiful. Now, invite what you desire. Think of ways you can invite this desire into your life, right? Again, identify one shift that maybe you can implement today. One shift that's comfortable for you to do today. Write this change down, makes it real, and the desired result in your notebook. So the one change is I will be more conscious of my choices, more aware of my words. And what's the change that will result? I'll take a breath before I make a statement. I'll give myself a moment to be aware of how the receiver might behave or react. I'll choose my words more wisely when I do that and have a much more productive dialogue. We want to just write this as briefly as possible. Another 5 seconds. And okay, because we're going to take what you just wrote and we're going to write it again. but this time with your non-dominant hand. So you just wrote it. If you're a righty with your right hand, you're now going to write it with your left hand. If you're a lefty, you're going to write it with your right hand. If you're ambidextrous, lucky you. Don't worry about the penmanship. But notice how you focus a little bit more on what you're writing. Okay, 5 more seconds. It's okay if you're not done. Okay, take a little bit of a breath, because I hope that you were brief enough to remember what you wrote. I'm going to write it a third time with your dominant hand, so you can go back to your comfortable hand, but with your eyes closed. And write it now with your eyes closed. And you can see the words on the paper in your mind's eye. Writing down the change that you want to make and the desired response, the desired result because of it. And now I invite you to imagine what you desired. You just wrote it down. Visualize it, fantasize what you'd love to have, excuse me, instead in your life. Focus on the wanted. Focus on the outcome. Focus on the desire. Focus on the feeling that this desire gives you. What is that feeling? Delicious. See it, feel it, know it, believe it. This is yours to have. And it's the feeling, not necessarily the material outcome, but the feeling, how wonderful it feels when you have the energy to achieve and just go for it, right? And even if you have the ability to influence, I mean, what is it that you desire? The ability to love, unconditional. Whatever it is that you desire, it is full of love and it is eternal. It is infinite. It goes on and on forever. And what we have next, in our next module, will be gratitude. And a little bit more about letting go. And I do want to say that that module is going to be a little bit like this, but we will start with the 10 or 11 things that I do every day to be sure that I am living an endlessly delicious life. And honestly, so far I haven't been thrown any wrenches that throw me off course for more than a breath, because I just love my life. as I hope you love yours. So I'm going to stop sharing, and